Hello and welcome to my channel. Today our topic is the Great Northern Plains of India or the Indo-Gangetic Plains, which extends right from the Himalayas in the north to the peninsular region of the south. So the Indo-Gangetic Plains consist of three parts. The western part consists of Rajasthan, which is a desert region. The central part of Indo-Gangetic Plains include Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, and the western part includes Bihar, West Bengal, Assam, which includes the Ganga plains as well as the Brahmaputra plains. The northern plains of India extends right from the western arid deserts of Rajasthan, which was also part of the alluvial plains. But because it is towards the western side of the coastal region of India, which is basically barricaded because of the Aravalli range, which do not allow the moisture laden clouds to enter, making this region extremely dry. So the main reason for the desertification of Rajasthan is because it is lying on the leeward side of Aravallis, which do not allow clouds and monsoon winds to enter Rajasthan. The central part of the northern plains consists of the depositional regions of the rivers of Ganga, Yamuna, as well as the tributaries of Ganga and Yamuna both. These are the central plains which are highly fertile because of the alluvial soils which have been carried down by the rivers and their tributaries, which occupy maximum parts of Uttar Pradesh, Punjab and Haryana regions. The eastern part of the northern plains consists of the Ganga Delta in West Bengal and the Brahmaputra plains of Assam. This is the delta which has been formed when the two rivers Ganga and Brahmaputra meet. Towards the mouth of the two rivers, when they meet the ocean, that is the Bay of Bengal, there is a delta which is formed because the rivers also form various distributaries, and a lot of materials and sand and gravel and alluvial silt is deposited along the mouth of the two rivers. The Ganga Brahmaputra Delta is the largest delta of the world. It is where the thickly forested Sundarbans are found, which is also a tiger reserve. This is a mangrove forest because it supports the mangrove trees. The northern plains begin from the Indus River basin, which is drained by the river Indus and its five tributaries Chenab, Jhelum, Ravi, Beas and Satluj. The river Indus has its source in the Kailash of the Himalayas. Most of the Indus Basin lies in Pakistan. The Jhelum flows through the state of Jammu and Kashmir. The river Indus forms a delta in Pakistan before it empties into the Arabian Sea. Many of its tributaries in the upper course rise from the glaciers in the Karakoram, Saskar and Ladakh ranges in the greater Himalayas. The Punjab plains were formed because of the deposition by these five main tributaries of river Indus. That is why it's called as the land of five rivers, which is extremely fertile. Indus River is about 2,700 kilometers long and also floods several times a year. It is a perennial river. As it flows towards the Thar Desert, towards the end when it forms a delta, it is flooded with brackish water and the land is basically very arid. Ganga and Brahmaputra basin forms a major part of the northern plains. The rivers Ganga and the Brahmaputra rise from the glaciers near the Mansarovar in the greater Himalayas. They flow in opposite directions and again meet in Bangladesh to form the largest delta in the world and empty into the Bay of Bengal. The Ganga has its source at a height of 6,000 meters in the greater Himalayas. It is formed by the headwaters of Bhagirathi, which originates from the Gangotri glacier at Gomukh and Alaknanda from the Alakpuri glacier. Many tributaries then join the river Ganga in the plain stage, and some of the tributaries also originate in the Himalayas. One of the major tributaries of Ganga is Yamuna, which is also called as Jamuna. The confluence or the joining of river Yamuna with its main river, that is Ganga, is at Prayagraj or Allahabad, which is called as Sangam. And Agra is an important city which is situated on the banks of river Yamuna. Some of the tributaries of Ganga that rise in the Himalayas are Yamuna, Ghagra, Gandak, Kosi, and Tista. And some tributaries rise at the edge of the peninsula plateau, which are Son and Damodar. The river Damodar is known as the sorrow of Bengal because it floods frequently and causes widespread destruction of lives, cattle, and crops. Now let's talk about the Brahmaputra basin, which is also formed at the Mansarovar Lake Glacier. The river is about 2,700 kilometers in length. In China, it is known as Sangpo, and it is an east-flowing river which moves southwards towards Arunachal Pradesh and enters Assam, cutting deep gorges in the Himalayas where it flows westwards. The Brahmaputra flows along the mountain stage along the Himalayas. They carry with it a lot of sediment. When it enters the plain area, it slows down suddenly, depositing its load on either sides of the river and splitting in two or three channels, forming a braided river. The Brahmaputra is the only river in India with a male name. It means the son of Lord Brahma. The Brahmaputra is also called as the Red River of India because it floods every year. And when it floods, the water of the Brahmaputra looks reddish in color after mixing with the red soil of Assam. The Brahmaputra has several tributaries, but some of the major tributaries are Teesta, Subansiri, Barali, Manas, North Dhansiri on the right bank, while joining it on the left bank are Buri, Dihing, and South Dhansiri. After flowing westwards for about 800 kilometers through the fertile plains of Assam, the Brahmaputra turns southwest and enters Bangladesh, where it forms a delta together with Ganga before entering the Bay of Bengal.